So we'll start here with a name that entered the portal in the last 24, 48 hours here. Noah Thomas, wide receiver for Texas A&M, one of the best receivers in the SEC. The Texas A&M has not been shy in terms of adding guys via the portal at that position the last few weeks here. Some high-profile additions: Mario Craver from Mississippi State, Micah Hudson, Texas Tech, and then Kevin Concepcion over the weekend, or not the weekend. It felt like the weekend with the new year here, but a few days ago makes it official that he's headed to Texas A&M. Actually, maybe it was the weekend, man. I'm so
Who
out
knows,
of
man. This is the craziest
out of the
week.
loop. But regardless, Texas A&M has loaded up at the receiver spot. What they are losing here, though, is their leading receiver from this past season, a guy who who also led the SEC, tied for the lead in touchdown receptions with 8. So big body, 6'6", can really stretch you vertically here. So this is not necessarily a transfer portal loss that A&M, I'm sure, is too happy about.
Yeah, look, he's not Mike Evans, but it kind of reminds you of Mike Evans, right? And it's amazing. We just saw him in the bowl game against USC, mossing guys, scoring touchdowns. So just as quick, he is in the portal. Like you mentioned, Texas A&M is adding a ton of horsepower, a ton of speed to their wide receiver room. With Thomas, he's not the fastest runner. I mean, look, he can get downfield. He's definitely not slow, but 6'6", more of your contested catch guy. Very good downfield. Again, not necessarily running by guys and running under balls, but winning those downfield 50-50 balls. I think when you look at this situation, you have Marcel Reed. You're building around him and what he does well. He obviously a very good runner. He can throw the football, but maybe not the most dynamic downfield passer. So if you're Noah Thomas, maybe you're saying, hey, this is a different direction. More quick passes to these speedy receivers, trying to get the ball in space and then run the football with the quarterback and the running back. So maybe he's just evaluating the fit there with the new quarterback. Obviously, he had a lot of success with Connor Wigman, and you know, he's been around for a while. He is trying to maximize his last season, what looks to be his last season, for NFL success. And there's still a chance he can come back. You know, Tyreek Chappelle, Chase Basantes, these guys came back to Texas A&M after entering the portal. But he has some schools hot on his trail. You look at the latest report from Pete Nakos, Miami, Texas, Georgia, all looking for wide receivers, all involved with Noah Thomas. Florida and Tennessee, some other schools that just on paper, to me, make a lot of sense as potential destinations for a receiver like this. And he's going to fit in with a lot of schools because not every team has a 6'6" guy that you could throw those fades to in the red zone and expect to come down with it. He's somebody who's ready to play right away, the one and done, most likely. So very interesting situation here with Noah Thomas. And, you know, I think this is going to be right away the top receiver currently in the portal. He hasn't been ranked yet, but I got to think Noah Thomas jumped straight to the top of the list.
Yeah, quick correction. I said that he was tied for the lead in for touchdowns in the SEC. He was tied for second. But either way, you know, we saw that highlight I just played there, him in the red zone. And it's interesting because you mentioned Marcel Reed at quarterback, still developing as a passer. But Thomas ended the year on fire there, 5 touchdowns in his last 4 games, including 2 in their bowl game against USC. So, I mean, yes, is he more of a runner at this point? Yes, but it's interesting because he did have success with him down the stretch there.
Yeah, and look, he's from League City, which is very close to Houston, very close to College Station. So it's not like a, you know, going home situation. So we'll see if they're able to bring him back in the portal. We're seeing with Tennessee, we did the show on Mikey Matthews, and they're still fighting to keep him out of the portal. So we'll see how the whole thing develops. But I think this guy is going to have a huge, huge market if he does go pro. Again, I was very surprised to see some of the names, to see Miami in the mix there, because Miami did bring in C.J. Daniels, who's a bigger wide receiver, but that was the first name mentioned by Pete Nakos. I know they're looking for a big-time receiver in general. Texas, you know, they could use – they have Ryan Wingo. They have some young talent, but they could certainly use a big guy like this for Arch Manning to throw it up to. And Georgia – you saw how important Kobe Young was to what Georgia was doing on offense. When he went out with that suspension, they lost that element. That's a fit that makes a lot of sense to me as well. So we'll see where it goes. Clearly, it's going to be a high-profile recruitment if he does stay in the portal, but you got to imagine Texas A&M is battling hard to keep him in the fold.